Hello, my dear friends, welcome to my channel. You know many English words. You study hard. You try to speak. But suddenly, someone says, break a leg, or it's raining cats and dogs. You freeze. What does it mean? You feel confused. You understand every word, but not the meaning. Idioms are like puzzles. They sound strange, but they are used every day. Without idioms, English sounds flat. With idioms, it comes alive. In this video, I will take you on a journey through 200 of the most common idioms, one by one, with real examples, simple meanings, and emotional stories. Each idiom will become your friend. You'll understand, remember, and start using them naturally. Ready to break the ice? Let's begin. Backhand index pointing right, comment below. Do idioms confuse you? Have you ever heard one and didn't know what it meant? Chapter 1. Idioms that express emotions. When I first started learning English, I knew many words. I could say happy, sad, angry, and excited. But one day, I was talking with a friend. I said, I am happy today. She smiled and said, Oh, you're on cloud 9. I stopped. I didn't know what that meant. I looked up. There were no clouds. I was not flying. I was confused. But she laughed and said, It means you are very happy. And in that moment, I realized something powerful. English has many idioms to show emotions. These idioms are not just words. They are feelings, pictures, stories, and I wanted to learn them all. The first idiom I remember well is on cloud 9. It means very happy, more than just smiling. It's a flying kind of joy. I used it when I passed my English test. I said, I am on cloud 9 today. And it felt real, because I was proud, and this idiom showed that emotion better than happy. It made my English sound alive. Another day, I felt very sad. A bad day. I failed a test. My friend asked me what happened. I said, I feel bad. But she said, Are you feeling down in the dumps? Again, I didn't understand. Dumps? Like trash? She smiled kindly. It means you feel very sad or low. I nodded slowly. Yes, I felt down. And now I had new words to describe that feeling. I'm down in the dumps today, I said softly. And it helped, because sometimes saying the right words helps you feel understood. Some idioms are strong, full of fire. One day, someone took my book without asking. I got very angry. I shouted. Later, I told my teacher. I got angry. But she said, You really hit the roof, didn't you? I blinked. What roof? She explained. When you hit the roof, it means you become very angry, very fast. I thought about it. Yes, that was me. I hit the roof. These idioms are like movies in your mind. You see the emotion. You don't just hear it. Sometimes, idioms help us not be too hard on ourselves. One day, I dropped my tea. It spilled everywhere. I felt upset, but my friend laughed and said, Don't cry over spilled milk. I didn't understand. Milk? Crying? She told me. It means don't be sad about small mistakes. It already happened. Just clean it and move on. And I smiled. Yes, she was right. That small idiom taught me a big lesson. Mistakes happen. Don't stay stuck. Another time, I was nervous about giving a speech. My legs were shaking. I said to myself, I am scared. But later, I learned the idiom, butterflies in my stomach. It means feeling nervous. It made sense. I imagined butterflies flying inside me. And now, every time I feel nervous, I smile and say, I have butterflies in my stomach. It sounds soft. It feels real. and people understand. Idioms can also show strength. One day, my friend didn't study for his exam, but he smiled and said, "I'll be fine." I said, "You're not worried?" He said, "No, I'm keeping my chin up." That touched me. To keep your chin up means to stay strong, even when things are hard. It's a kind of hope. I use that idiom now when I feel low. Keep your chin up, I tell myself. It gives me courage. When something was funny, I used to say it's funny. But my English teacher said, "You can say it cracked me up." I smiled. It means you laughed a lot. A real laugh. So now when I hear a joke, I say, "That cracked me up." And people laugh with me. I sound more natural. Another beautiful idiom is walking on air. It means feeling so happy that it feels like you're floating. I used this when I met my favorite English teacher. I said, after her class, I was walking on air. And I really was. Because learning became joy. And then there's blow off steam. When you're angry or stressed, and you do something to feel better, like going for a walk or talking to a friend. I used to stay quiet when I was angry. But now I say, I need to blow off some steam. And people give me space. It helps me breathe. So you see, idioms are not just strange phrases. They are real tools. They help you share your feelings clearly. They help others understand you. And they make your English feel alive, not flat. You don't have to learn all 200 at once. Start with these 10 emotional idioms. On cloud 9. Down in the dumps. Hit the roof. Cry over spilled milk. Butterflies in my stomach. Keep your chin up. Crack me up. Walking on air. Blow off steam. Over the moon. Try using them today. Say one out loud. Think of a real moment when you felt that way. Tell a friend. Write a sentence. You will remember it better that way. English is not just about grammar and rules. It's about feeling, connection, expression. Idioms help you open your heart in English. This is just the beginning. In the next chapter, we'll look at idioms from your everyday life, school, food, health, and surprises. You will hear phrases you've seen in movies or heard from native speakers. And now, you'll understand them too. Chapter 2. Idioms about daily life. English is not only in books or exams. It is in your daily life. The things you do every day, waking up, eating, going to school, working, making plans. All these moments have special expressions, and many of them are idioms. They help you talk about your day in a fun and natural way. I didn't know that at first. I used to say only simple words like, "I'm tired," or "I want to stop working." But then I learned idioms, and suddenly, my English sounded alive. It had rhythm, emotion, color. One of the first idioms I learned was a piece of cake. I remember my teacher gave us homework, and I finished it fast. It was easy. My friend said, "Wow, that was a piece of cake for you." I smiled. Cake. I thought he was talking about food. But then he explained. It means something is very easy to do. And now, every time I finish something quickly, homework, cooking, even learning a new English word, I say, "That was a piece of cake." Then I learned under the weather. It means feeling sick. Not very sick, just a little. I remember one morning, I didn't feel well. I had a headache. I didn't want to go to school. I told my mom, "I feel bad." She said, "You're feeling under the weather today." I repeated it. It felt right. Not just bad, but a soft way to say I'm not feeling my best. And since then, when my friends feel tired or sick, I ask them, "Are you under the weather?" Daily life also means knowing when to stop. Sometimes I study for too long. My eyes hurt. My brain feels tired. And I say, okay, let's call it a day. This idiom means, let's stop working for now. It's like saying, I did my best. Now it's time to rest. It's kind. It helps you know that stopping is okay. One day, I forgot to bring my umbrella. It started raining. A friend looked at me and said, well, when it rains, it pours. I laughed, because not only was I wet, but I also had lost my notebook earlier. Many bad things on the same day. That's what this idiom means. When something bad happens, often more bad things follow. But we use it with a smile, because we know bad days pass. Another time, my friend changed his mind again and again. First he wanted to go out. Then he didn't. Then yes. Then no. I said, make a decision. But someone else said, he's sitting on the fence. I blinked. Fence. Sitting? But it means he can't choose one side. He's unsure. And yes, that was the perfect image. Since then, I use it when people don't want to choose. Don't sit on the fence. Make a choice. Idioms also help us describe being busy. One weekend, I had so many things to do. Clean my room, finish my school project, help my mom, and study English. I was running everywhere. I said, I'm very busy today. But my sister said, you're running around like a headless chicken. I laughed so hard. It sounded silly, but I got it. It means being so busy that you can't think straight. Now, when I'm busy, I just say, I'm a headless chicken today. It makes people smile. And sometimes, we don't feel busy, we feel bored. One Saturday, I had no plans. Nothing to do. I lay on my bed and stared at the ceiling. I texted my friend, I am bored. She replied, want to kill some time together? I was confused. Kill time. Why? But then she explained, it means to do something just to pass time, like watching a show or going for a walk. And that's what we did. Now, I say, let's kill time before class, when we are waiting for something to start. We also use idioms when we talk about money. I remember buying a small gift for someone. It was nice, but not expensive. My friend said, oh, you didn't break the bank. I smiled. That idiom means something was not too costly. It was affordable. And when I want to say something is too expensive, I say, it costs an arm and a leg. These idioms help me speak about money in a fun way. One last idiom I want to share is, in hot water. I was once late to class. The teacher was not happy. My friend whispered, you're in hot water now. I asked, what does that mean? He said, you're in trouble. And yes, I was. But I laughed, because the idiom made it feel like part of a story. So today, we looked at real moments of daily life. And we saw how idioms can express them in a deeper, more colorful way. Here are 10 idioms from today's lesson. A piece of cake. Under the weather. Call it a day. When it rains, it pours. Sit on the fence. Run around like a headless chicken. Kill time. Break the bank. Cost an arm and a leg. In hot water. Practice these today. Use them when you talk with a friend or write your diary. Think of your own life. When was something easy? Say a piece of cake. When were you in trouble? Say hot water. These idioms are not just words. They are your story. Next, we will explore something fun and surprising. Idioms from the human body. Head, heart, feet, hands. They all speak English too. Chapter 3. Idioms from the body. The body speaks, not only in movement, but also in English idioms. I didn't know that before. One day my friend said, I got cold feet before the exam. I stared at her shoes. I thought, are your feet really cold? She laughed and explained, "No, it means I was scared. I didn't want to do it." That moment changed me. I realized English uses body parts in a special way. Head, hands, eyes, feet, heart. They all have meanings beyond their shape. These idioms help us talk about emotions, choices, and real life. And when you learn them, English becomes more human, more alive. Let's begin with that first idiom, get cold feet. It means feeling nervous before doing something big, like giving a speech, getting married, or taking a test. You were ready, but now you want to back out. I remember when I had to join my first English club. I stood at the door, shaking. I almost left. I had cold feet, but I told myself, just try. And I'm glad I did. Then there's cost an arm and a leg. I told my dad I wanted new headphones. He checked the price and said, "That costs an arm and a leg." I looked at my arms, then at my legs. "Really?" He smiled. "No, it just means it's very expensive." And yes, that helped me understand. The price was high, and he didn't want to lose money, like losing arms or legs. This idiom is silly, but it sticks in your mind. That's why it works. Some idioms are about thinking. Your head is not just for hats. It's full of meaning in English. When someone is very smart, we say they have a good head on their shoulders. That means they make good decisions. I once saw a friend solve a problem quickly, calmly. I told him, "You really have a good head on your shoulders." He smiled. It made him feel proud. But sometimes, your head gets too full. You can't focus. Too many things to do. Then we say, "I can't wrap my head around this." It means you can't understand or accept something. I said this when I first learned English grammar rules. I told my teacher, "I can't wrap my head around present perfect." She smiled and said, "That's okay. One step at a time." And slowly I did. Your eyes also speak. When you want someone to be careful, you say, "Keep an eye on it." My mom says this when she's cooking. "Keep an eye on the rice." She doesn't mean just to look once. She means watch it carefully. I use this now too. When I leave my bag with a friend, I say, "Can you keep an eye on it?" Simple and clear. Another fun idiom is turn a blind eye. It means to ignore something wrong on purpose. I once saw a classmate cheating in a test. The teacher saw it too, but said nothing. She turned a blind eye. I didn't understand why. But later, I learned she was giving him a chance. This idiom helped me describe the situation, not just with facts, but with feeling. Now let's talk about hands. We use them every day, but in English, hands are full means being very busy. I once told my teacher, "Sorry I forgot the homework. My hands were full at home." She understood. It wasn't just an excuse. It was a real picture of how I felt, doing many things at once. There's also to be in good hands. This means you are safe with someone. When I joined my English class, I was nervous, but my teacher said, "Don't worry. You're in good hands." And she was right. She cared. She helped. I felt safe. That idiom gave me comfort. Your heart is for love, but also for courage. When someone is brave, we say they have a big heart. I said this about my friend who helps others. She gives time, money, care. I told her, "You have such a big heart." And she smiled. It's a simple idiom, but full of emotion. Finally, let's talk about a pain in the neck. It doesn't mean your neck really hurts. It means something or someone is annoying, like a loud neighbor or a slow computer. I once said, "My internet is a pain in the neck." It made my friend laugh, but he understood my struggle. So here are your 10 body idioms for today. Get cold feet. Cost an arm and a leg. Have a good head on your shoulders. Can't wrap your head around. Keep an eye on. Turn a blind eye. Hands are full. Be in good hands. Have a big heart. Pain in the neck. Now it's your turn. Think about your day. Did something annoy you? Say pain in the neck. Were you too busy? Say hands full. Did someone help you? Say I was in good hands. These idioms are more than phrases. They are mirrors. They show what you feel inside. Next, we enter a wild and exciting world, the animal kingdom. English has many idioms about cats, dogs, horses, and birds. Some are funny, some are strange, but all of them are used every day. Chapter 4, Animal Idioms. Animals live in the jungle, the farm, the zoo, and also in English. When I was a beginner, I thought English was just grammar and rules. But one day, someone said, "Let the cat out of the bag." I looked around. There was no bag, no cat. I was confused. But then they explained, it means to tell a secret by mistake. I was shocked. English had cats in bags. From that day, I began to notice more and more animal idioms. And they made English so fun, so alive, so real. Let's start with that idiom. Let the cat out of the bag. It means to share a secret too early. I remember I planned a surprise birthday party for my sister. But my little brother told her the plan. She found out. The surprise was ruined. I told him, "You let the cat out of the bag." He said, "Sorry. I didn't know it was a secret." Now, every time someone tells something before the right time, I use that idiom. It fits perfectly. Another fun idiom is raining cats and dogs. The first time I heard it, I laughed. I imagined cats and dogs falling from the sky. But no, it means heavy rain. I remember a day when I forgot my umbrella. The sky turned dark. Then boom. It rained so hard. I was soaked. My teacher saw me and said, "It's raining cats and dogs out there." I smiled, even though I was wet, because now I had a new way to say big rain. One of my favorites is kill two birds with one stone. Don't worry, it's not real. It means doing two things with one action. I used this when I listened to English songs while cleaning my room. I was learning English and cleaning at the same time. Two birds, one stone. It felt smart. It felt right. And now, when I do something helpful and fun together, I use this idiom. Sometimes people chase things that are not real. They run after dreams that don't exist. That's called a wild goose chase. I remember once I looked for a book in 5 different shops, and in the end, it was out of stock everywhere. My friend said, "That was a wild goose chase." And it was. It helped me express frustration in a funny way. Have you ever been afraid to say something because you feel shy or scared? Then someone might ask you, "Has the cat got your tongue?" This idiom means you are too quiet. My teacher used to say this when I didn't answer a question. I felt nervous, and she smiled gently and said, "Cat got your tongue?" I shook my head, then slowly answered. It helped me speak. That idiom gave me courage. When someone is very proud or confident, we say they are the top dog. I heard this in sports. One team was winning every match. People said they are the top dogs this season. And yes, they were. Strong, fast, confident. Now, when someone is leading or winning, I say, "You're the top dog today." Another funny one is "let sleeping dogs lie." This means don't bring up old problems. Just leave them alone. I used to argue with my brother about something small. Later, I tried to bring it up again. My mom said, "Let sleeping dogs lie." I stopped. It made sense. If there's peace now, don't make trouble. Sometimes, someone is slow or lazy. We say, he's a couch potato. I was like that during summer vacation, watching TV, doing nothing. My friend came over and laughed. You've become a couch potato. I smiled, because it was true. And that idiom helped me describe myself in a funny, honest way. Have you ever tried something for the first time and failed? That's normal. But English has an idiom. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. It means it's hard for people to change. I said this when my grandfather refused to use a smartphone. He just didn't want to learn. I said, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And we both laughed. Finally, when someone is pretending to be nice, but inside they are dangerous, we say, a wolf in sheep's clothing. I once met someone who smiled a lot, but later said mean things behind my back. A friend told me, be careful, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And that helped me understand people better. Here are the 10 animal idioms from today. Let the cat out of the bag. Raining cats and dogs. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. A wild goose chase. Cat got your tongue. Top dog. Let sleeping dogs lie. Couch potato. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. A wolf in sheep's clothing. These idioms are full of life. They help you describe feelings, actions, people, and funny moments. They are easy to remember because they create pictures in your mind. So, next time you're stuck in a storm, say, it's raining cats and dogs. If you're watching TV all day, admit it. I'm a couch potato. Idioms are not just for native speakers. They are for you. They make your English fun, clear, and full of color. In the next chapter, we'll talk about idioms for people, how to describe others, their personality, their behavior, and their little secrets. Chapter 5. Idioms for talking about people. Every day, we meet people. Friends, teachers, classmates, neighbors. Some are kind. Some are funny. Some are difficult. I used to say, he is nice, or she is funny. But after learning idioms, I found better ways. I could describe people in a more real, more powerful way. Idioms help me tell stories. They help me show what kind of person someone really is. Today, I will share those idioms with you. Simple, common, and full of meaning. Let's begin with a dark horse. It means someone who surprises you. Someone quiet, who does something amazing when no one expects it. I remember a classmate who never talked much. He sat at the back, but one day he won a big speech contest. Everyone was shocked. My teacher said, he's a real dark horse. I nodded. Yes, he didn't show off, but he had talent. That idiom helped me describe him perfectly. Now let's talk about the apple of my eye. This is a sweet idiom. It means someone you love deeply. I use it when I talk about my little niece. She is only 4, but she makes everyone smile. I always say, she's the apple of my eye. It shows love and pride. And people understand right away, she is special to me. Some people are very important. Leaders, bosses, someone in control. In English, we say they are the big cheese. It sounds funny, but it works. I once went to a meeting, and the director entered the room. Everyone stood up. My friend whispered, that's the big cheese. I laughed. But yes, it meant he was the important one. Now let's talk about someone who is always annoying. Not in a mean way, but they just bother you. We say they are a pain in the neck. I had a classmate who always tapped my shoulder, asked too many questions, and borrowed my pen. I liked him, but he was a pain in the neck. That idiom helped me say the truth, but in a friendly way. Some people talk a lot, maybe too much. We say they are a chatterbox. I have a cousin who never stops talking. From morning to night. Stories, jokes, questions. She talks to everyone. I say, she's a real chatterbox. And it's true, but it's part of her charm. On the other hand, some people don't share much. They are quiet, private. We call them a closed book. I once had a friend who never talked about his life. I asked him questions, but he always changed the topic. My teacher said, he's a closed book. And yes, I understood. Some people are hard to read. That idiom helps explain it. Now let's talk about people who are kind and helpful. We say they are a good egg. I met a volunteer at a community event. She helped the old people, played with the kids, and cleaned the park. Someone said, she's a good egg. I smiled. Because yes, she was honest, kind, and full of heart. Some people try to be better than everyone else. They act proud, maybe a little rude. We say they are full of themselves. I once met a guy who always talked about his grades, his clothes, his money. He never asked about others. I told my friend, he's full of himself. And she agreed. That idiom showed his attitude exactly. One time, I met someone who told the same story to everyone, over and over. I already knew it by heart. So I said, he's like a broken record. That's an idiom too. A broken record means someone who repeats the same thing again and again. It's funny, but also true. Finally, there's an idiom for someone who is always calm, even when things go wrong. We say they are cool as a cucumber. My uncle is like that. Even during problems, he stays relaxed. He never shouts, never panics. I always say he's cool as a cucumber. It makes me want to be like him. Let's review today's 10 idioms. A dark horse. The apple of my eye. The big cheese. A pain in the neck. A chatterbox. A closed book. A good egg. Full of themselves. A broken record. Cool as a cucumber. Now think about the people in your life. Who is the dark horse? Who is the chatterbox? Who is cool as a cucumber? Try using these idioms in your next conversation. Say them out loud. Write a sentence about someone you know. Idioms help us describe people in a way that feels honest, real, and even funny. In the next chapter, we'll learn idioms from nature, the sky, the clouds, the rain. Weather idioms are full of emotion. They can describe sadness, hope, and everything in between. Chapter 6. Idioms from the weather. The weather changes every day. Sometimes it's sunny. Sometimes it rains. Sometimes the wind blows strong. I never thought the weather had anything to do with English. But then I heard someone say, every cloud has a silver lining. I stopped and thought, what cloud? What silver? But then, they explained, it means even in bad times, something good can happen. That touched me, because I had just failed a test, and I felt sad. But when I heard that idiom, I felt hope. The sky felt brighter. And I realized, weather idioms can change the way we feel. Let's start with that one. Every cloud has a silver lining. It means that inside every problem, there is a little hope, a little light. I use this idiom when someone feels sad. When my friend didn't get the job she wanted, I told her, it's okay. Every cloud has a silver lining. Maybe something better is waiting for you. And later, she did find a better job. This idiom gave her strength to wait. Sometimes people get angry very fast. Their mood changes like a storm. We say a storm in a teacup. It means a small problem made too big. I remember once I dropped a pencil in class. My classmate got upset because it rolled near his desk. He shouted, but it was not a big deal. My teacher smiled and said, that's a storm in a teacup. I smiled too. Because it was true, some problems are really small, even if they feel big. Now think about people who stay strong, no matter what. Whether it's sunny or rainy, happy or sad, they keep going. For them, we use the idiom come rain or shine. It means they do something regularly, no matter what happens. My friend goes for a morning walk every day, even in cold weather, even if it's raining. I once asked her why. She said, "It keeps me strong." I told her, "You're amazing. You go out come rain or shine." Another idiom I love is under the weather. You may remember it from an earlier chapter, but here, let's feel it again. It means feeling a little sick. Not terrible, but not okay. I remember once I had a sore throat. I didn't go to class. My friend called me and said, "Are you feeling under the weather?" I smiled. Yes, I was. That idiom felt like a soft blanket. Kind, gentle. English can be warm like that. One time, my class was doing well. Everyone was happy. But suddenly, we had a surprise test. Nobody was ready. My friend said, "Wow, that came out of the blue." I asked, "Blue?" He said, "It means something happened suddenly, with no warning." I understood. That test came from nowhere. It was truly out of the blue. Then I learned get wind of something. It means to hear a secret or rumor. My friend planned a surprise party, but someone told me about it early. I didn't tell anyone. When the party came, she asked, "Did you know?" I said, "Yes, I got wind of it last week." We laughed. That idiom helped me explain what happened in a friendly way. Another expression is to have your head in the clouds. It means you're dreaming, not paying attention to real life. I used to do that in school. I looked out the window, thinking about songs, games, and dreams. My teacher once said, "You have your head in the clouds again." I looked down and smiled, because it was true, but it was also sweet. Sometimes, people feel pressure. Too much to do. Too many problems. We say under a cloud. I once saw my friend quiet and worried. I asked if everything was okay. She said, "I feel under a cloud today." It meant she was feeling low, sad, maybe confused. That idiom helped her express something hard to say in plain words. One idiom that gives me power is to weather the storm. It means to survive a hard time, to be strong when life is difficult. When I lost my first job, I felt hopeless. But I told myself, this is just a storm. I will weather it. And I did. That idiom helped me stay strong. It reminded me, storms don't last forever. Finally, one of the most positive idioms is walking on sunshine. It means you feel very happy, like the world is bright. I used this when I got my first English certificate. I told my mom, "I'm walking on sunshine today." She hugged me. She understood. That idiom matched my joy perfectly. Let's review today's 10 weather idioms. Every cloud has a silver lining. A storm in a teacup. Come rain or shine. Under the weather. Out of the blue. Get wind of something. Head in the clouds. Under a cloud. Weather the storm. Walking on sunshine. These idioms connect English with life, with feelings, with nature. They help you speak about your emotions in a gentle, beautiful way. So next time you feel low, remember, every cloud has a silver lining. And when you feel full of joy, say, "I'm walking on sunshine." In the next chapter, we'll learn idioms about winning, losing, and trying hard. Idioms that give you courage when you fail and help you speak with power when you succeed. Chapter 7. Idioms for Success and Failure. Success and failure. Two big words. One makes you smile, the other makes you cry. But both are part of life. and both are part of learning. I used to say, I passed, or I failed. But those words felt empty. Then I learned idioms. And everything changed. Suddenly, I could describe how hard I tried, how close I came, how proud I felt, or how badly I failed. Idioms made my story richer. They helped me share the full picture, the struggle, the hope, the joy, the lessons. Today, I want to share those idioms with you. Let's begin with back to square one. I heard this when I made a mistake on my school project. I had worked for 3 days, but I did it the wrong way. My teacher said, "You'll have to start again." Back to square one. I felt sad, but I understood. It means starting from the beginning. I tell myself now, when something goes wrong, it's okay. I'll go back to square one. I'll try again. Then there's hit the jackpot. I learned this from a game show. The winner got a big prize. They said, "You hit the jackpot." Later, I used this idiom when I got a scholarship. It felt like a dream. I said, "I really hit the jackpot today." That idiom helped me show joy and surprise in one sentence. When someone works very hard, we say they go the extra mile. I once stayed up all night helping my friend with her homework. The next day she said, "You really went the extra mile for me." I smiled, because I knew that idiom meant something special, not just doing enough, but doing more, with heart. Sometimes, we try and still fail. One day, I joined a spelling contest. I was doing well, but I spelled one word wrong. And just like that, I was out. My friend patted my back and said, "You really gave it your best shot." That touched me, because it means I tried with all my heart. I didn't win, but I gave it my best shot. That's what matters. Then there's a painful idiom, bite the dust. It means to fail or be defeated. I used it when our school football team lost the final game. I told my classmate, "We really bit the dust today." He nodded. We were sad, but that idiom helped us laugh a little too. Another idiom I love is burning the midnight oil. It means studying or working late at night. I used this a lot during exam week. I told my teacher, "I burned the midnight oil last night." She smiled and said, "I hope the results show it." And they did, because I gave my time, my effort, my heart. Sometimes, success comes after trying again and again. In those moments, we say third time's the charm. I remember trying to pass my driving test. I failed twice. On the third try, I passed. I laughed and shouted, "Third time's the charm." That idiom felt like magic. It gave me hope when I almost gave up. When something is very successful, we say it hit it out of the park. I used this idiom when my little brother sang on stage. Everyone clapped. I told him, "You hit it out of the park." He smiled with pride. That phrase made his win feel big and strong. Sometimes we are winning, and suddenly, we fail. That's called drop the ball. It means making a mistake when it matters most. I dropped the ball once when I forgot to email an important file at work. My boss was upset. I felt bad. But I learned. Now I double-check. And I never drop the ball again. One last idiom is make the cut. It means to meet the requirement or to be chosen. I used this when I got into the school drama club. I was so nervous before, but when I saw my name on the list, I whispered, "I made the cut." That idiom held my happiness. Let's review these 10 idioms for success and failure. Back to square one. Hit the jackpot. Go the extra mile. Gave it your best shot. Bite the dust. Burning the midnight oil. Third time's the charm. Hit it out of the park. Drop the ball. Make the cut. Each of these idioms carries a feeling, the effort, the hope, the fall, the win. Use them in your life. When you fail, say, back to square one. When you try hard, say, I gave it my best shot. When you succeed, say, I hit it out of the park. These idioms are your new tools. Use them with heart. In the next chapter, we'll talk about something tasty, food idioms. English is full of butter, beans, salt, and apples. You'll love it, and you'll remember every phrase. Chapter 8, Idioms from Food. Food is life. We eat when we're happy. We eat when we're sad. Food brings people together. But in English, food also brings language alive. I still remember the first time I heard someone say, spill the beans. I was holding real beans in my hand. I thought I dropped something. But no, they meant I shared a secret. I laughed, and that was the day I realized food idioms are everywhere. They sound strange, but they are used in daily life to talk about people, feelings, mistakes, and even smart thinking. Today, I'll share these delicious idioms with you. Let's start with that one, spill the beans. It means to tell a secret too early. I remember planning a surprise for my teacher, but one of my classmates told her before the big day. Another friend said, you spilled the beans. And it made sense. The secret was out. The surprise was gone. But now, I always remember this idiom, because it connects to a real moment. Then there's take something with a grain of salt. This means not to believe everything 100%. Sometimes, people exaggerate. I heard someone say they studied for 20 hours with no sleep. My friend smiled and said, I'll take that with a grain of salt. I asked what that meant. She said, maybe it's not all true. I nodded. It's like saying, maybe but maybe not. That idiom helped me understand how to stay smart and calm. Another common one is a piece of cake. Yes, it's sweet and tasty. But in English, it means something is very easy. I used this when I finished a simple assignment quickly. I told my friend, that was a piece of cake. She smiled. It felt good to say something fun and confident. Now let's talk about butter someone up. It doesn't mean real butter. It means saying nice things to someone, maybe because you want something. I remember my younger brother complimenting my mom so much before asking for a toy. I whispered to him, stop buttering her up. He laughed. That idiom helped me tease him in a kind way. Another funny idiom is cool as a cucumber. You may remember this from an earlier chapter, but here we feel it again. I use it when someone stays calm, even in chaos. Like my friend during exams. No fear, no stress. I said, you're always cool as a cucumber. He smiled. That idiom shows control and peace. Then we have the icing on the cake. It means something extra that makes a good thing even better. I remember winning a writing contest. But then, they gave me a free book too. I said, wow, that's the icing on the cake. It made a happy moment even sweeter. Some people are not very smart, or they don't think much. In English, we say, not the sharpest tool in the shed, or a few sandwiches short of a picnic. I once saw someone try to open a door by pushing the wrong side again and again. My friend laughed and said, he's a few sandwiches short of a picnic. It sounded funny, but not mean. It was just a way to say, he's a bit silly. Let's talk about bring home the bacon. It means to earn money for the family. I use this idiom when talking about my dad. He wakes up early, works all day, and supports us. I say, he works hard to bring home the bacon. It sounds funny, but it shows respect too. Then we have egg on your face. That's when you make a mistake and feel embarrassed. I once told everyone the class was canceled. But I was wrong. Everyone came. I felt silly. My teacher said, "Looks like you've got egg on your face." I laughed and nodded. Yes, I did. That idiom helped me accept my mistake with a smile. Last one for today, food for thought. This means something deep to think about. I heard a story about a girl who learned English by watching cartoons. It made me think, maybe I could learn like that too. I told myself, that story gave me food for thought, and I still think about it. Here are today's 10 food idioms. Spill the beans. Take it with a grain of salt. A piece of cake. Butter someone up. Cool as a cucumber. My hands were shaking. But I finished it 5 minutes before midnight. I looked at the screen and whispered, I beat the clock. These idioms are not just fun. They are useful. They help you speak naturally. They help you feel connected to the culture. They help your English sound alive. So today, try one. Say, that was a piece of cake after finishing something. Or tell a friend, that's food for thought. Let your English be tasty. Let it be real. In the next chapter, we'll talk about idioms from time, minutes, hours, clocks, and years. You'll learn how to speak about being late, early, or fast in a way that sounds truly fluent. Chapter 9, Idioms about time. Time moves fast. Sometimes too fast. Sometimes it feels slow. But time is always there, morning to night, day to day. I used to say simple things like, I'm late, or I'm early. But then I heard someone say, I got there in the nick of time. I stopped. I had never heard that before. I asked, what does that mean? They said, it means I arrived just before it was too late. I smiled. That was me last week, running into class just as the bell rang. And I thought, maybe English has more ways to talk about time. And yes, it has many. Let's begin with in the nick of time. It means something happens just before it's too late. I use it when I catch the bus at the last second. I say, I got on in the nick of time. It makes people smile. It shows how close I was to missing it. Then there's beat the clock. This means to finish something before a deadline. I remember working on a project the night before it was due. I was typing fast. My hands were shaking. But I finished it 5 minutes before midnight. I looked at the screen and whispered, I beat the clock. That idiom helped me feel proud, not just for finishing, but for trying hard under pressure. Another one is kill time. This means to do something while you wait. I use it when I arrive early for a meeting. I sit down, open my phone, and watch a short video. Just to pass time. That's killing time. Not doing anything important, just waiting calmly. Sometimes, things happen around the clock. It means all day and night, without stopping. Like nurses in hospitals. They work around the clock. My brother once said, I studied around the clock for my test. That idiom shows hard work and dedication. Then there's make up for lost time. Maybe you were sick. Maybe you stopped learning English for a while. Now you're back. And you want to study more. That's when you say, I want to make up for lost time. I used this when I returned to my English class after 2 weeks away. I told my teacher, I'll try harder now. I want to make up for lost time. One day, someone said to me, time flies. I looked at the clock. I thought it meant the clock was broken, but they explained, it means time goes fast. I smiled. It was true. We had talked for hours, but it felt like minutes. I said, yes, time flies when you're with friends. Now I use this idiom all the time. When you want to wait for the perfect moment, you say, bide your time. It means you're waiting patiently. I once wanted to join the school drama club, but I was too shy. I waited. I watched. I learned. One day I was ready. I told my friend, I bided my time, and now I'll try. That idiom gave my waiting a purpose. If someone is wasting time, we say they are dragging their feet. I saw this once when my cousin had homework but didn't want to start. He walked slowly to his desk, took out his book slowly. I said, "Stop dragging your feet. Just begin." It helped him laugh and get started. Then there's at the 11th hour. It means doing something very, very late. Almost too late. Like writing an essay just before class. I once printed my paper right before the teacher entered the room. I whispered, "Phew, finished at the 11th hour." That idiom helped me tell the truth with a smile. Finally, call it a day. You've heard this one before, but let's feel it again. After working, studying, or even thinking for a long time, when you're done, you say, "Let's call it a day." I say this when my eyes are tired and my mind feels full. It means, I tried. I'm done. I'll rest now. Let's review your 10-time idioms. In the nick of time. Beat the clock. Kill time. Around the clock. Make up for lost time. Time flies. Bide your time. Drag your feet. At the 11th hour. Call it a day. These idioms help you talk about time with feeling. They help you show effort, delay, pressure, or peace, all with a few simple words. Try using one today. If you're tired, say, "Let's call it a day." If you almost miss your bus, say, "I got there in the nick of time." Next, we'll explore idioms that add color to your words, literally. In the next chapter, you'll learn how to use red, blue, green, and black to express your thoughts. Chapter 10, Idioms with Colors. Colors are everywhere. Red roses, blue skies, green trees. But I never knew colors were in English too. Not just in pictures, but in words. The first time someone said, "I'm feeling blue," I looked at their shirt. It was white. I didn't understand. I asked, "What do you mean?" They smiled and said, "It means I'm sad." That surprised me. I thought colors were only for art. But then I learned, colors can show feelings, moods, and ideas in English. And these color idioms made everything more real, more emotional. Let's start with feeling blue. It means feeling sad or low. I used this idiom when my best friend moved to another city. I missed her so much. One day I wrote in my notebook, "Today, I'm feeling blue." It helped me say how I felt without saying too many words. Then I learned see red. That means becoming very angry. I once saw my brother's favorite toy get broken by mistake. His face changed. He shouted. My mom whispered, "He's seeing red." I understood. It was not just normal anger. It was strong, fast, full of emotion. Sometimes, people are very jealous. They want what others have. In English, we say green with envy. I used this when I saw my classmate get a new bike. I was happy for him, but deep inside, I also wished I had one. I told my friend, I was green with envy. She smiled and said, "That's okay. It means you care." Now let's talk about a white lie. This is a small lie that doesn't hurt anyone. Like when someone asks, "Do you like my cooking?" And you say yes, even if you didn't. Just to be kind. I used this once when my friend gave me a gift I didn't really need. I smiled and said, "It's perfect." That was a white lie. Soft, harmless, gentle. Another idiom is black and white. It means something is clear, easy to understand, like yes or no, right or wrong. I used this when explaining a rule. I said, "It's black and white, no phones in class." That idiom helped me sound firm, but clear. Sometimes, Something rare happens. Something special. We say it happens once in a blue moon. I remember going to the beach with my family. We don't do that often. I told my cousin, "This happens once in a blue moon." She nodded. It felt special. That idiom made the moment feel more important. There's also a red flag. It means a warning sign. I used this when someone was always changing their story. First they said one thing, then another. I told my friend, "That's a red flag. Be careful." It helped her make a smart choice. That idiom protects you. Now let's talk about green light. It means permission to go ahead. I heard this at work. I wanted to start a new project. My boss said, "I give you the green light." I smiled. It felt like a real green light, the kind you see at traffic signals. Go. Start. Do it. Another idiom is out of the blue. You've learned this one before. But here, we focus on the color, blue, meaning surprise. Something unexpected, like when an old friend calls you, or when someone gives you a gift for no reason. I say, that came out of the blue. It feels fresh. It feels honest. And lastly, we have black sheep. This means someone who is different. Maybe they don't follow the rules or act like the rest of the family. I use this when talking about my uncle. He doesn't like parties. He travels alone. My aunt said, "He's the black sheep of the family." And she said it with love. That idiom shows difference, but also personality. Let's review your 10-color idioms. Feeling blue. See red. A green with envy. White lie. Black and white. Once in a blue moon. Red flag. A green light. Out of the blue. Black sheep. Each color brings emotion. Each idiom brings story. Now, when you feel sad, say, "I'm feeling blue." When you want to begin, say, "I got the green light." These idioms help you speak English that is full of feeling and full of life. In the next chapter, we'll explore idioms from work and business. Useful phrases that make you sound smart, professional, and fluent in English conversations. Chapter 11. Idioms from Work and Business. I still remember my first job interview. I wore my best shirt. My hands were shaking. I wanted to speak good English. I wanted to sound smart. But I was nervous. The person asked me questions. I answered with short sentences. No idioms. Just basic English. After the interview, I thought, I wish I knew how to sound more natural. More like a professional. Later, I heard someone say, "Let's get the ball rolling." And I paused. What ball? What rolling? I was confused. But they explained, "It means let's start the project." That moment opened my eyes. Business English was full of idioms, powerful ones, easy ones, idioms that help you sound fluent and confident. Today, I'll share them with you. Let's start with that one. Get the ball rolling. It means to begin something. I use it now when I start a group task. I say, "Let's get the ball rolling with a short plan." It makes people smile. It shows I'm ready to take action. Then there's climb the ladder. This means moving up in a job or career. I remember my uncle started as a cleaner in a hotel. Now he's the manager. My aunt always says, he climbed the ladder step by step. That idiom shows growth. Hard work. Progress. Sometimes, you don't know what's happening in your company or team. You feel left out. In English, we say, "I'm not in the loop." It means you don't have the latest information. I used this when my team changed the meeting time and didn't tell me. I said, I wasn't in the loop. Now, I always try to stay in the loop by asking questions. Next is think outside the box. This means to be creative, to find new ideas. I once suggested a different way to teach English with stories and songs. My teacher said, "That's thinking outside the box." I smiled, because it meant I was creative and brave. Sometimes, we work very hard, but don't show it. Then someone says, "Give yourself a pat on the back." It means praise yourself. Be proud. I say this to my viewers too. If you're reading and learning, give yourself a pat on the back. You deserve it. Another powerful idiom is touch base. This means to check in or talk briefly. My manager once said, "Let's touch base tomorrow morning." I learned that it means, let's speak for a short update. I now use this when I want to connect with someone without a long talk. Sometimes we try something, but it doesn't go well. We say, "That idea didn't fly." It means it didn't succeed. I once tried to start a book club at school, but no one joined. I told my friend, "That idea didn't fly." He said, "Try again later." And I did. One of my favorite business idioms is on the same page. It means everyone agrees or understands the plan. I used this in a team project when we all finally agreed. I said, "Now we're on the same page." It felt like teamwork, unity, focus. Now let's talk about cutting corners. This means doing something in a quick or lazy way, not with full quality. I saw someone copy homework quickly just to finish. I whispered, "He's cutting corners again." That idiom reminds us, do things the right way, not the fast way. And finally, there's the bottom line. This means the most important thing. At the end of a long meeting, my teacher said, "The bottom line is, we must finish by Friday." That idiom helped me know what really mattered. Let's review your 10 work and business idioms. I used this when I gave my friend advice. I told her, "I've helped you all I can. Now the ball is in your court." These idioms will help you sound smart, confident, and clear, even in a job interview or team meeting. Try using one this week. If you start a task, say, "Let's get the ball rolling." If you and a friend agree on something, say, "We're on the same page." These idioms make your English powerful, but still simple. Chapter 12. Idioms from Sports and Games. Sports are not just for athletes. Games are not just for fun. In English, they also teach us how to speak with energy, with action, with confidence. The first time I heard someone say, "He threw in the towel," I looked around. I thought, "Where's the towel?" But there was no towel, just someone giving up on a goal. Later, I learned it's a boxing idiom. When a fighter can't go on, the coach throws a towel. It means the fight is over. And I realized, English is full of idioms like that. From sports, from games, and they help us describe real life in strong, simple ways. Let's start with that one. Throw in the towel. It means to quit, to stop trying. I once tried to build a website. It was too hard. I gave up. My friend said, "You threw in the towel too early." And he was right. Now, I remember this idiom when I feel like quitting, and I try one more time. Another idiom I love is get the ball rolling. You know this one from earlier chapters. But here, in the world of sports, it comes alive again. It means to begin, to take the first step. When a football match starts, someone kicks the ball. That's the beginning. I say this at work or in study groups. Let's get the ball rolling on our project. It's a great way to start. Then there's hit it out of the park. This idiom comes from baseball. When a player hits the ball so well, it flies far beyond the field. In life, it means you did something perfectly. I said this when my sister sang beautifully on stage. I told her, "You hit it out of the park." She smiled. That idiom gave her power. One time, I was behind on a project. I needed to catch up. My teacher said, You need to step up your game. I asked what it meant. She explained. It means improve. Try harder. Do better. I nodded. I stepped up my game. I worked harder. That idiom pushed me forward. Now let's talk about ahead of the game. It means you are doing well. You are ready. Prepared. I used this when I finished all my homework before the weekend. I told my friend, I'm ahead of the game. It felt good. It gave me peace. Sometimes we wait too long. We lose our chance. In English, we say, miss the boat. It means the opportunity is gone. I missed a job application once because I waited too long. My friend said, you missed the boat on that one. And I understood. Next time, I acted faster. Now think about someone new. Someone trying something for the first time. We say they are a rookie. It means beginner. I was a rookie when I first joined the English club, but I wasn't afraid. I told everyone, I'm a rookie, but I'm ready to learn. That idiom helped me feel brave. Sometimes, we try to avoid saying something directly. We speak around the topic. In sports, that's like running around the field without scoring. In English, we say, don't beat around the bush. I heard this when I was too shy to ask a question. My teacher said, don't beat around the bush. Just say it. And I did. Then there's jump the gun. It means to start too soon. Runners do this in races sometimes. I once answered a question before the teacher finished asking. She smiled and said, don't jump the gun. That idiom made me laugh and helped me slow down. Finally, we have the ball is in your court. This idiom comes from tennis. It means, now it's your turn to act. I used this when I gave my friend advice. I told her, I've helped you all I can. Now the ball is in your court. That idiom gave her power to decide, to act. Let's review today's 10 sports and game idioms. Throw in the towel. Get the ball rolling. Get it out of the park. Step up your game. Ahead of the game. Miss the boat. A rookie. Don't beat around the bush. Jump the gun. The ball is in your court. These idioms are full of action. They help you describe goals, mistakes, chances, effort, and success. They make your English sound strong, clear, and confident, like a player ready for the game. So today, think about your learning. Are you ready to step up your game? Have you missed any boats? Will you hit your next goal out of the park? Chapter 13, Idioms from Travel and Movement. Life is a journey. Sometimes we walk. Sometimes we run. Sometimes we stop, rest, and start again. I remember when I first traveled alone. I was scared. I felt small. But with every step, I learned. And later, when I started learning English, it felt the same. Every lesson was like a road. Some roads were easy. Some were hard. But I kept moving. Then one day, I heard someone say, it's time to hit the road. I was confused. I thought, where's the road? Why hit it? But they explained, it means let's leave now. Let's begin. And I smiled. Because yes, English is full of roads, trains, boats, and steps. These travel idioms can help you move forward in words and in life. Let's begin with that one. Hit the road. It means to start a trip or to leave a place. I use this when I say goodbye. It's getting late. Time to hit the road. It sounds natural, friendly, simple. Then we have in the same boat. It means we are in the same situation, good or bad. I used this in class when everyone failed the same test. I told my friend, don't feel bad. We're all in the same boat. And we laughed. That idiom helped us feel less alone. Now think about someone who is doing well, growing, improving. In English, we say they are going places. I use this for my younger cousin. She studies hard, helps others. I tell her, "You're really going places." It means, "Your future is bright." And she smiles with hope. Sometimes, we want someone to try harder, to do better. We say, "Step up your game." You've learned this before, but in travel, step feels like moving forward. I use it when I see someone with big dreams, but small actions. I say, "Step up your game." Take the next step. It's not just words, it's a push. Now let's talk about a bump in the road. It means a small problem during your journey. I used this when my internet stopped working during online class. I told my teacher, "Just a small bump in the road." She smiled. It helped make the problem feel smaller. Another one I like is jump on the bandwagon. It means to join something because everyone else is doing it. I saw this when a new app became popular. Everyone started using it. My friend said, "I'm going to jump on the bandwagon too." It means, "I'll join in, why not?" Sometimes, we need to change direction. In English, we say, change gears. I used this when I stopped learning vocabulary and focused on speaking. I told my tutor, "I want to change gears." That idiom helped me explain a shift, a new way forward. There's also on the right track. This means you are doing the right thing. You are going the right way. I love this idiom. I use it when someone is trying, even if slowly. I say, "Don't worry, you're on the right track." It gives them hope. It gives them strength. One time, my friend told me a story that didn't make sense. It went everywhere. I said, "You're going off the rails a bit." He laughed. That idiom means things are out of control or confusing. It helped us smile and start again. Finally, when we want to continue with something serious, we say, "Stay the course." I use this when I feel tired. When learning feels hard, I tell myself, "Stay the course." Don't stop. It reminds me that every step matters, even the small ones. Let's review today's 10 travel and movement idioms. Hit the road. In the same boat. Going places. Step up your game. A bump in the road. Jump on the bandwagon. Change gears. On the right track. Go off the rails. Stay the course. These idioms help you speak about life, growth, problems, and goals, with movement and meaning. Try one today. Tell a friend, "You're on the right track." Or say, "Let's hit the road." These simple phrases make your English feel natural, like walking down a clear path. Chapter 14, Idioms for Relationships. Relationships are the heart of life. We all want to feel close to someone. A friend, a family member, a partner, someone who listens, someone who understands. But sometimes, feelings are hard to explain. You care, but you don't know how to say it. You want to help, but words don't come. I remember feeling this way when my best friend moved away. I wanted to tell her how much she meant to me, but I couldn't find the words. Then I learned some English idioms, short phrases that said so much. These idioms help me speak from the heart, and they can help you too. Let's begin with break the ice. This idiom means to start talking with someone in a friendly way. Maybe it's the first time you meet. It feels quiet, awkward. I used this when I joined my English club. I didn't know anyone, but I said, "Hello, I like your notebook." That small sentence broke the ice, and the girl smiled. We became friends. Then there's get along like a house on fire. It sounds strange, but it means two people become close very fast. They laugh. They talk. They feel happy together. I used this when I met a boy in my reading class. We shared books, jokes, and ideas. I told my teacher, "We get along like a house on fire." It felt true. Our friendship grew fast and strong. Now think about love. When two people decide to be together forever, we say they tie the knot. That means they get married. I heard this when my cousin got married last year. My aunt said, "They're tying the knot next month." That idiom made it sound simple and sweet. Sometimes, we need to understand others. We don't agree, but we try to feel what they feel. In English, we say, put yourself in someone's shoes. I used this when my friend failed an exam. I passed, but I didn't celebrate loudly. I put myself in her shoes. I thought, if I were her, how would I feel? That idiom helped me show kindness. When two people argue and then stop talking, we say they have a falling out. I had this once with a close friend. We disagreed. We didn't speak for weeks. It hurt. Later, we talked again. I said, "I'm sorry we had a falling out." She nodded, and we made peace. There's also see eye to eye. It means you agree. You understand each other. I use this when talking about my mom. We don't always see eye to eye, but we love each other. That idiom helps me speak about small differences with respect. When someone supports you, no matter what, we say they are through thick and thin. I use this for my sister. She has been with me in good times and bad. I tell her, "You've been with me through thick and thin." She always smiles, because that idiom is deep. True. Sometimes, two people stop being close. They drift apart. It means slowly, without fighting, they talk less and less. I had a friend from childhood. We used to talk every day. Now we don't. I once told someone, "We've drifted apart." That idiom helped me say something sad, gently. If someone has a secret or strong feelings, and finally tells you, they open up. I used this when my quiet friend finally told me about her family. I said, "Thank you for opening up to me." That idiom made her feel safe, heard, loved, and finally, one of my favorites, a shoulder to cry on. It means someone who listens when you're sad. I remember crying after a hard day. My friend didn't say much. She just sat with me. I told her later, "You were a shoulder to cry on." She said, "Always." That idiom is soft, but powerful. Let's review today's 10 relationship idioms. Break the ice. Get along like a house on fire. Tie the knot. Put yourself in someone's shoes. Have a falling out. See eye to eye. Through thick and thin. Drift apart. Open up. A shoulder to cry on. These idioms help you speak from the heart. They help you describe love, friendship, and kindness with care. Try one today. When you talk to a friend, ask, "Can I be your shoulder to cry on?" Or say, "We may not see eye to eye, but I still care." These words build trust. They build connection. They make your English feel full of soul. In the next and final chapter, we'll look at idioms that make your English sound fluent. Everyday phrases native speakers use all the time. These idioms will take you one step closer to sounding natural. Chapter 15. Idioms to sound fluent. I remember the day I first spoke English without stopping. It wasn't perfect. I made mistakes, but I kept going. My friend said, "Wow, you sound fluent now." I smiled. Not because my grammar was perfect, not because I used big words, but because I spoke with confidence. I used the small phrases that real people use every day, the ones that sound easy, but carry deep meaning. These are the idioms I want to give you now. The final pieces of the puzzle. The ones that help you sound natural, real, fluent. Let's begin with call it a day. You've seen this before, but now it's yours. When you're tired, when you've done enough. When it's time to stop, I use this at the end of my study sessions. I close my book and say, let's call it a day. It feels like a soft goodbye. Calm. Honest. Next is hit the nail on the head. It means you said something exactly right. I used this when my classmate gave a perfect answer in discussion. I told her, you hit the nail on the head. She smiled. That idiom gave her confidence. Use it to praise others and yourself. Sometimes, things sound easy, but are hard to do. Then we say, easier said than done. I used this when someone told me, just speak English every day. I smiled and said, easier said than done. That idiom helped me show the truth without complaining. When someone speaks too long, we say, cut to the chase. It means, get to the point. I used this when my friend told a long story before asking for help. I laughed and said, just cut to the chase. What do you need? That idiom is playful, but clear. Now let's talk about in a nutshell. It means in short, in a few words. I use this when I give a quick answer. In a nutshell, I like the movie. That idiom helps you speak fast, but still say enough. If something is obvious, we say, no-brainer. I use this when choosing what to eat, pizza or plain bread. I say, pizza, that's a no-brainer. It means the choice is easy. That idiom adds fun to everyday life. Sometimes, we tell people to relax, to wait, to be patient. We say, hold your horses. I say this when my little cousin gets too excited. She wants to open a gift early. I say, hold your horses, wait till dinner. It makes her laugh. It makes English fun. When we stop worrying and trust things will be okay, we say, go with the flow. I used this when travel plans change suddenly. No stress. I said, let's just go with the flow. That idiom brought peace, calm, trust. Now think of someone who's doing too much, trying too hard, getting tired. We say, burning the candle at both ends. I once studied late and woke up early. I felt tired. My mom said, you're burning the candle at both ends. That idiom helped me slow down and rest. And finally, we have the icing on the cake. You know this one. It means something extra, something that makes a good thing even better. I use this when I have a great day and then get a surprise message from a friend. I say, that's the icing on the cake. It makes the moment feel full. Let's review your final 10 idioms to sound fluent. Call it a day. Hit the nail on the head. Easier said than done. Cut to the chase. In a nutshell. No-brainer. Hold your horses. Go with the flow. Burn the candle at both ends. The icing on the cake. These idioms are simple, but they are powerful. They help you sound like a real English speaker. Not just someone who knows words, but someone who feels the language. Now you've learned 200 of the most common idioms in English. One by one. With heart. With meaning. With real-life moments. You started this journey with curiosity. And now, you are walking with confidence. You don't need to memorize all 200 today. But start using just one. Say it. Write it. Feel it. Soon, they will become part of you. If this video helped you, please like it, comment your favorite idiom, and subscribe to the channel. Tell me, which idiom will you use first? Which one surprised you? Let's grow together, one sentence at a time. Remember, English is not just grammar. It's life. It's feeling. It's connection. Keep going. Keep learning. You're doing amazing.